It was the kind of morning that felt like it could swallow you whole. Mark Evans hurried down the bustling sidewalk of downtown Seattle, one hand clutching a paper cup of black coffee, the other holding onto his 6-year-old daughter's tiny fingers. Emma skipped beside him, her pink backpack bouncing against her shoulders. She was humming a tune from a cartoon he barely had time to watch with her these days. They were late. Again. Mark's second job at the construction site started in 20 minutes, and he still had to drop Emma off at the daycare a few blocks away. He was exhausted, the kind of bone-deep tired that no amount of caffeine could fix. But he kept going, because that's what you did when you were a single dad and the world didn't wait for you to catch your breath. Then, it happened. A screech of tires. A panic shout. Mark's head snapped up to see a heavy delivery truck barreling down the hill, its driver frantically yanking the steering wheel, but the brakes had failed. The truck was headed straight for a woman stepping out of a sleek black car. Everything slowed. The woman, tall with striking auburn hair and a face you'd swear you'd seen on magazine covers, turned toward the noise. In that instant, Mark saw it. She was frozen, like her brain hadn't caught up to what was happening. Without thinking, he shoved his coffee at a confused pedestrian and yelled, "Hold her!" to a nearby stranger, passing Emma's hand into theirs before sprinting into the street. The truck bore down, metal and momentum. Mark slammed into the woman's side, sending them both tumbling onto the sidewalk as the truck plowed into a street lamp with a sickening crunch. Silence. Then sirens, gasps, people rushing over. Mark coughed, lifting himself up on scraped palms. The woman blinked at him, dazed. You saved my life." He tried to laugh it off, his heart pounding. "Guess I was just in the right place, wrong time." She stared at him with a look he couldn't place, a mixture of shock, gratitude, and something else. "What's your name?" "Mark Evans." Emma's dad, a little voice called, and they both turned to see Emma wriggling free from the bystander's grip, running over. The woman's eyes softened. She crouched down, brushing dust off Emma's cheek. "You've got a brave dad." "Yeah," Emma grinned, proud. "He says I'm his whole world." Mark flushed, scratching the back of his neck. "Sorry about all this. I should, probably get her to daycare." "Wait," the woman said. "I'm Alexandra Blake." The name meant nothing to him. "You don't know me, do you?" "No offense, but no." She laughed, a real, unguarded sound. "That's actually refreshing." Within minutes, paramedics were checking them over, police taking statements. Mark downplayed the whole thing, refusing any fuss. He was about to slip away when Alexandra grabbed his arm. "Listen," she said quietly, "I've met a lot of people. Politicians, celebrities, CEOs, but no one's ever done something like that for me. Not because they wanted something, just because it was the right thing to do." He shrugged. Kindness shouldn't be so rare. Their eyes locked, and something unspoken passed between them. Weeks later, Mark didn't expect to hear from her again. But 2 days later, a woman in a sharp suit showed up at the daycare with a scholarship for Emma. A week after that, Mark got a job offer, a site manager position with a salary he'd never dreamed of. He called the number at the bottom of the letter, and Alexandra herself answered. "You didn't have to do this," he told her. "I wanted to," she said softly. "Not just because you saved my life, but because you reminded me what it means to be human." They started seeing each other more. Coffee after work, walks in the park with Emma. She'd tell stories about boardrooms and private jets, while he talked about scraped knees and overdue rent notices. They were from different worlds, but somehow, in each other's company, both felt seen. Then one evening, under a warm sunset in a quiet park, Mark watched as Emma chased fireflies and turned to Alexandra. "You ever feel like life just surprises you sometimes?" She smiled. "I used to think I had everything, but I didn't have this." She took his hand. "I didn't have someone who showed me what real courage looks like." And just like that, no grand declarations, no dramatic music swelling in the background. They leaned in, the world shrinking to the space between them. The moral, kindness, Mark realized, was like a ripple in a pond. One small, selfless act could change the course of a life, or three. And for Alexandra Blake, billionaire businesswoman, it wasn't power or money that saved her that day. It was a struggling single dad who refused to let a stranger die in the street. Because sometimes, the people who have the least give the most. And in doing so, they remind us all what it means to be human.